Hi there, my name is Monica Gillespie, and I'm currently a middle school science teacher and a cheer coach at George Wagner Middle School in Georgetown, Texas. I'm also pursuing my master's degree in educational leadership with the focus of developmenting the skills and mindset needed to become an effective school leader. In this video, I will explain how the Transformational Leadership Framework aligns with two specific Texas principal standards. Standard 1, Instructional Leadership, and Standard 4, School Culture. These two standards are foundational to driving both student achievement and long-term school success. The Transformational Leadership Framework defines a strong school leader as someone who focuses on equity, rigor, and relationships. According to our text, according to our text under the Desravines and colleagues, transformational leaders consistently practice three core competencies. First, the driving results. Leaders set ambitious goals and relentlessly pursue academic success for all students. Two is influencing adults. Leaders build the capacity for staff through coaching, professional development, and accountability. Developing cultures. Leaders foster a school climate rooted in high expectations, shared purpose, and respect. These competencies are not theoretical ideas. They are action-oriented behaviors and effective leaders implement daily. As I reflect on the Texas Principal Standards, it is clear that Standards 1 and 4 are embedded within this framework. Let's start with Standard 1, Instructional Leadership. This standard emphasizes the principal's role in improving teaching and learning through a consistent focus on effective instruction and student outcome. One of the key practices of Transformational Leadership Framework is driving results, which directly align with the principal responsibility to monitor curriculum implementation, support teacher development, and analyze data to improve instruction. For example, transformational leaders use data-driven observations to provide real-time, accountable feedback for teachers. It ensures the use of rigorous, standard-based instruction, and it promotes a culture of continuous learning among staff and students. From my own experience, I have seen how this looks at practice. At my campus, we use Formative Platform to track student progress and assess mastery across content standards. These data points are not collected in isolation. They inform instructional decisions during our weekly professional learning community, or PLC meetings. Teachers and instructional leaders collaboratively review unit assessment data, identify trends, and tailor reteach plans to address specific areas of need. There have been a few times where my science partner and I have noticed our students are missing the same questions, or maybe they're not understanding what the question is asking. So we've communicated to one another, maybe we kind of dropped the ball in teaching that aspect of the curriculum. What can we do differently? What can we do in order to do a reteach? What would help promote student growth in this type of situation? These PLCs are more than just routine meetings. They are purposeful, data-informed spaces where transformational leadership is modeled through transparency, shared decision-making, and follow-up coaching. Our administration supports these efforts by co-analyzing the data with the teams and guiding us through a reflective dialogue around instructional efficiency. So like I said, we're able to sit with our counterparts and kind of discuss where the gray area was and what's the best way to go back and engage the students, whether that's growing them or getting them back up onto current level. Moreover, transformational leaders recognize that high quality instruction cannot be left to chance. They embedded in structures like coaching cycles, facilitate faculty-focused professional development sessions, and empower teacher leaders to take ownership of campus-wide learning goals. These actions embody both the spirit of Standard 1 and the Transformational Leadership Framework commitment to sustained improvement in adult capacity building. In summary, transformational leaders do not simply manage instruction, they shape and evaluate it. Standard 1 calls principals to be strategic, visionary leaders who ensure that every student receives equitable access to excellent teaching. So that's kind of re-saying, being able to go back and re-ask students certain questions to make sure that they are meeting on level, to make sure they are gaining the knowledge needed in order to go on to the next TEK, to go on to the next grade, just to gain a better understanding that we're teaching the student how they learn, not learning how they teach, essentially, right? So we're going to explore Standard 4, school culture, which highlights the principal's responsibility to create a safe, positive, and inclusive environment that supports student learning and staff's well-being. This standard aligns strongly with development in culture capacity in the Transformational Leadership Framework. Leaders who prioritize culture do not just maintain order. They create communities rooted in equity, inclusion, and belonging. Transformational leaders set the tone for what is valued in the school. They articulate a clear vision, model desired behaviors, and celebrate progress. These actions reflect what Student 4 defines as building a shared vision and engaging families and staff as partners. It's important that our community feels involved in education and on our campus, along with their families and our student body. At our campus, the leadership team has cultivated a culture where students' voice and staff collaboration are central. One example is our implementation of student-led conferences and campus climate surveys. We send out these surveys probably 2 a semester, 1 every 9 weeks, give or take, to kind of gauge that students' well-being is being met, whether that's seeing counselors, making friends, keeping friends, social skills, turning in assignments, completing assignments, things of that nature. Like I said, equity is important. How our campus culture supports teacher morale and retention. Our leaders foster this through intentional structures, recognizing teacher contributions, facilitating opportunities for teacher leadership, and prioritizing emotional well-being through open communication and shared decision-making. Additionally, the way we use PLC to review unit assessment data also builds a culture of collective responsibility. Teachers don't operate in silos. Instead, we are empowering to own student outcomes together. This transparency pairs with respectful dialogue and accountable feedback helps nurture trust and the belief that every student has gained success and can be successful. In my own classroom, I found that incorporating restorative practices and holding students to high, compassionate expectations creates an environment of mutual respect. When school leaders extend these practices campus-wide, modeling empathy, consistency, and high standards, they cultivate a culture that honors both academic achievement and human dignity. Ultimately, both Standard 4 and the Transformational Leadership Framework recognize that school culture is not an afterthought. It is the engine that drives student success. So what I'm learning on campus is that it's important that everybody feels included and supported while also driving towards a larger goal as being successful, whether that's with test scores, gaining data, meeting the expectation not only set by the state, but by our district and let alone by our individual campuses. So it's important for everybody to be on the same page and kind of buy in to the expectation that we all have to communicate. We all need to be on the same page. And make sure that we're sticking together, working together. In conclusion, of the Transformational Leadership Framework and the Texas Principal Standards are not separate philosophies. They are mutually reinforcing guides to effective school leadership. Standard 1, Instructional Leadership, connects directly to the framework's focus on results, teacher development, and instructional excellence. Standard 4 is School Cultures. It aligns with the leader's role in building inclusive, value-driven communities that foster engagement, equity, and shared purpose. Both areas require a leader who is reflective, courteous, courageous, and committed to doing what is best for their students.